I want to remind you that whenever you go into the perfect center of your being to contact the light that you are, that is the point where it asks the question. That is the point where you are at all power, and you may bring in front of that light whatever it is that you want to be handled, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, financial. In that presence you have all power and you have all command. So this is the causal point and the very important point for us to bring up what it is that we require for our well-being at that moment. Okay? And I think it's important now that since we're backing the light, since we're backing the age of enlightenment, and since we are a part of it, that we place ourselves as much as we can where we can derive from this magnificent energy. So every time these large worldwide groups get together, you must recognize there's a great, tremendous power going on that you can benefit from and that you can bring your own power to, which really spreads out to affect the world consciousness. You'll see the I am statement, which every week I write this I am statement, and when we read this together, or if you're not able to stay to the end of the program, take it home with you and read it out loud, because as you read it and speak those words, when you connect the I to your I am principle, to that central being that you are, magnificent things happen. And so this gives us a course and a direction. And even as a group, when we speak this word, it has impact and power for us the entire week. There is movement going on. So I encourage you to read these statements as much as possible to yourself so that you get your energy on a very powerful course. I'm always thrilled at the power of that one mind. And you know, when we come together to do our thing, we don't very often talk that much about what it is that we're individually going to do. But somehow it has that miraculous power of everything working as one. And I believe that it is that great power, and that is the power of love. That when we are being love in whatever it is that we're doing, that everything works as a great harmonious whole for us. And this morning I'm talking about something I love to talk about, freedom at the fifth level. Okay, and the fifth level is an energy band, which is a complete band of love and wholeness. So this morning I'm going to be talking specifically about the great freedom we experience at the fifth level of consciousness. Okay, what is this level? What happens in this vibrational pattern? And how may we become a part of it? The fifth is that level of unprecedented good, meaning it is entirely a dimension of newness and greater, absolutely new manifestations of good going on. It is an all-inclusive level. It is the level of God dimensions operating unboundedly, and God happenings taking place all the time. At the fifth, when we get there, we have turned away entirely from sense reference. We are operating transcendent of our human local references, magnifying rather our unlimited God connection and relating to that connection entirely beyond sight, sound, appearances, space, and time. So, you know, some of you have experienced, remember when 3D came out? Right? Where you got to experience the sights, the sounds, the smells in the theater, where the marvelous technicians magnified and intensified those things that were already visible of the effect world. And so then we could have a multi-dimensional experience as we observed. Okay, that third level deals with that expanding that which already is in front of you as the tangible, that which you can sense, the sense world, okay? So at the fifth, and I won't leave out the fourth, I'll tell you what that is, but that's more having to do with limitation. At the fifth, we have left all the visible behind and are working entirely free with the complete presence of God. We have entered the terrain of accelerated good. Therefore, it is the terrain of coincidence, unparalleled experiences, God's causal realm of immediacy, direct contact, boundless resource, the oneness, the all in the all. So clearly, to enter here, this divine land, we must break all habits, and particularly the habit of habits, which is dependency on the visible and the known and the sense world. And we must go beyond to depend on, radically rely on, the God force. Begin to know your God, the power of your life, as he, she is. Okay? And in the Bible it says, and when he shall appear, something like this, and when he shall appear, meaning the divine force shall be clear to us, when we shall see it completely, and we shall be as it is, like it. So at this level, we are recognizing our likeness to the divine force, and we do see it. We see it as light. We feel it as love. We definitely do see it. So even though it is called the invisible world, I believe that it is only invisible to those who do not have the eyes to see. For I have definitely seen this world. In great freedom, I see white light particles moving everywhere. I see the great dimensions, and I know that we all see it in meditation. And pretty soon you do begin to see it and know it all the time. I'm not going to relate the specifics, but I'm just going to relate something about this importance, the importance in letting go of dependency upon the visible and the knowns. Mary Jo has a great goal in mind, which I love a lot. And I know that she's going to manifest it. And we were talking about it. And Mary Jo was about this particular thing, and she's saying, well, there's no evidence. Well, how can I move from here to there, and how can I do this and that, and do this thing that I have in mind, but there's no evidence. And what will my friends say, et cetera, So I said, well, Mary Jo, well, quite simply and plainly, you have to level hop. You have to go up to that fifth level. Because what she's talking about, in order to have transcendent experience beyond what we have, this realm that we're talking about, the fifth level, is beyond logic. It's absolutely beyond logic. It's beyond the space and time mind, which is the fourth level. It actually defies and mystifies the logical mind. For it does not operate on facts, givens, and knowns. It cannot be contained or held to any familiar reference point. So the logical mind must suspend its action. So in order to access this magnificent, free-flowing terrain, and I know we've all been there, we've been in and out. You know, those miraculous times we slip in, and then boom, there we are right back in, trapping ourselves, in the logic, once again, the knowns, right? But in order to access this magnificent level consistently, we must be willing to acquiesce all that we know to this point, and absolutely all doubt. I was listening to a tape by Wayne Dyer, and it reminded me to remind you that doubt cannot experience miracles. So if you're doubting why you're not experiencing miracles, why then take a look at your doubt, because it stands in front of you and your good. So this is not a terrain for the faint-hearted. And you must approach this terrain with the power of tremendous faith. Tremendous faith. Faith alone can open these doors. Joy, and the mind related only to infinite God, the sublime, the wholeness, the mind of great expectancy, with our intuitive mind advancing, which mind alone can directly experience God, leaving the logical mind behind to relate to its past, doing whatever it does, and putting on the bliss mind, which knows only joy and complete immersion in God. You know, someone mentioned to me that you can tell someone's level of evolution, their degree of freedom, by the beauty of their smile, by the radiance of their presence. And I thought this was really good. You know, that is a really good barometer. For in order to smile, or to project that radiance, you must have the authentic, clear soul of joy and love. And you must be free in your knowing to project that kind of fluidity. So joy and love are companions of faith, and another definite prerequisite for entry into this transcendent domain of the unified field. Holmes says, without love, no one can access the universal. You must have that mystical sense of oneness with all, a great inclusion of the whole in your soul, embodied in your being. How can you expect to access the greater if you're living with a limited inclusion? Doesn't make sense, right? So we want to include all that we might access the universal. And it says, this terrain, it says, no one needing proof may enter. No contracts or assurances given in advance. For you are the one who must be sure of what I am. No previous ceilings of experience may be brought with you. No preconceptions are allowed, nor not any previous good. For I am that which have more to acquaint you with. Okay, this is the level of the one in which we live, move, and have our being all the time, yet not knowing, not recognizing. It is the level of the absolute and the great, definitely unlimited, where things are created on the spot and where we lay aside all that we have and know for the arrival of the greater, unexpected good. And we are open at the top. As Ernest Holmes says, stay open at the top. Be ready to receive of something greater. Be flexible. So we are flexible, we are receiving, we are infinitely connected. So this dimension of being magnifies the spiritual cause and connection, and draws upon the great invisible. It knows no precedent, no past, only all is now. So when we have entered and we are abiding here in consciousness, we are being intensely aware now and alert to the invisible power operating. We are closely connected. We are listening, seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing all that it is doing, detecting. All of Spirit's operations on our behalf are intensely magnified to us. We understand them, and they are real as real can be to us. And as Cheryl Giannini said, I was out at her great land in Pennsylvania, beautiful land with beautiful mountainous views and a great crystal lake in the middle of the land. And the house is very large. And I said to Cheryl, Cheryl, are there any times, when you're up here by yourself, when your husband's busy doing concerts, that you feel aloneness? And she said, oh no. She said, I used to. She said, but now I am all over this land. Okay. So in this territory, our spirit is one. We know no division. We're one with the universe. We are spread out, extended, all over the universe. I am all over creation, rejoicing in a great oneness and connectedness with all. We are very keen to and drawing upon the invisible stuff of creation rather than drawing upon that which we have already created. We are so rich. We don't have to use that which we've used, for there is more. We are spontaneous, alert, responsive, fully alive, and open in every way, heart, mind, body, consciousness, and being, to receive of the stream of God life, its great good rippling in manifold currents of delight in, through, and around us. And here, mentioned again, as I said, this perfection. In order to be empty-handed, not so tightly bound that we cannot see, we cannot receive, we don't plan. First time I heard this idea, I'm a great planner because I'm organized. I have divine organization, right? And the first time I heard this, this was like maybe 25 years ago. I wasn't as, free as I am now. And my great teacher at that time said to me, someone said, well, should we have a plan? He says, no. And everybody went, what? I'll fall apart if I don't have a plan. But you see, if we plan too tightly, we can have an idea of what it is that we want. We must have that. But we don't have a plan about it. So that we always have that mystical door, open for something great. We can allow the God higher possibility to happen. And so God can do the planning. And someone else also said, the problem that we have is management control. We're always trying to manage everything, and trying to keep it in reference of our plans. But God is the infinite intelligence and wisdom, is the optimum planner. So if you have a thing going on, really trust to that optimum plan to operate on your behalf. And if you will just do that, it will. So here we are really leaving all up to the sublime one to do, to plan, to bring out. And we have a sense of adventure and fun. No miracle can come through to you if you're drab and plodding along. You're just not at that current. Can you see how that is? So adventure and fun and a sense of the greatness, a thraldom, is what we need. So we are innocent children. recognizing we are divine beings of God. Not human beings, divine beings. We are divine beings. And we say to ourselves, what is my great God and the law of all good up to next on my behalf? Oh, I know. I shall speak my word, and it is done. I know I am so richly surprised by my willingness to be open and my boundless faith that miracles shall happen to me before I know it. That before I ask, I shall receive. Good things are happening so fast, I just simply must continue getting out of the way and admiring the majesty of my glorious good. So we are alert, aware, faith-filled, on the alert for the signs of invisible wonders working. We know our level of joy and excitement and faith is commensurate with our freedom and the magnitude of the new bounty we shall experience. And we absolutely know that even though things are taking place at the swift and instantaneous level, yet it is only because we have built to a level on the inner where this great action, which always was, could be released and limits could be dissolved for us by divine favor, divine love, recognizing its own. And also we know this dimension includes a hidden fount of creative resources which can do all. And I know all of you have experienced this. This fountain magnifying, spotlighting spiritual cause at the center, which now we do see and we do recognize. It is a dimension of blockbuster consciousness, no limits, where we have an intensified sense of the presence of love and light and all that is of the divine presence being with us, creating for us, with us now, on the spot, new glories. Okay, so let's get ready right now to be delighted, to ascend to the 5th level, to be amazed. Meetings at the 5th level. So we must get ready to be delighted. We must have this expectation, to be amazed, to ascend to this 5th level, to meet, actually meet, the bountiful one in directly visible experience, right there in our world, in a deeply meaningful way to us. For as we know, the 5th level is a level of great meanings, of interconnectedness, and high integration with all. So let's get ready for levels of joy and bliss beyond our greatest expectation right now. And let's plan only in our heart of hearts to be infinitely pleased, actually thrilled. Plan for a first-time experience, a first-time experience of unprecedented good. So let us go within now to that sacred, secret place of the Most High, the most celebrated, the glorious. And let us say within, I am ready. I am light. I am ready now for thy great good to pour forth in me, as me, through me, surrounding me. Oh, I came to thee empty-handed, trusting, and thou hast made me rich. I came to thee with a heart's desire in my mind, and thou didst know me, and thou hast thrilled me with thy tremendous response. Thou art so beautiful, and I am so free. I abide in thy heavenly dimensions of awareness, of direct access and contact. I am sure, and I am awake. I see thee in thy beautiful majesty. Oh, I love thee so. Thou art the breath of my being. I am blissfully one with the great immensity of all creation. And so it is. Okay, let's read this together. I am that I am, and right now I declare the great spirit of the limitless and unbound now works through me. That which is beyond sense boundary and which cannot be contained is right where I am. I am listening, hearing, seeing, and experiencing wonders of sublime and unprecedented glory now. I am vastly expanded over wide dimensions of good, admiring and embracing my own. Thank you, God. I am thine, thou art mine. Thank you for this tremendous first-time new good thou hast provided for me that balances me completely. How rich and free I am. Always and ever I await thy command. Thou dost delight me so, and so it is. And I know treatment now, okay? Right now, I declare there is only one power, one presence, one perfect, complete, bountiful life force, moving in, through, and as each individual, each member of the God consciousness, wherever they are. I know that this is the power of powers, that right now its manifest completeness, wholeness, and glory is now rising up through each individual here, taking each individual to a higher level of conscious perception than they have ever known before. The light is increasing the magnitude of the good and the knowing right now on behalf of each beloved being now. I say their good is completely assured in the heart of God, specific to them. It is miraculous, it is new, it is definitely a first, for infinite being must be known, that we may celebrate the powerful truth of life and rejoice in it and in our freedom right where we are. I know that my words have gone through all of consciousness, have extended out into the atmosphere of being throughout the ceiling of this hotel, out embracing the entire universe. The word is heard. The word is known. The word is accomplished by the power of the infinite force, specifically drawn to the point of the life of each and manifest where they are. Thank you, great God. Thank you, great life of my life, our life. Thou art ever all that is. We are the emancipation, the victory, the life, the glory, the abundant, overflowing joy. And so it is.